The Green Bay Area Public School District Board is meeting tonight, could decide who would design and build a proposed new elementary school. Kristen Allen's live outside the district office this morning. What's expected to happen at tonight's meeting, Kristen?
Tammy, the Green Bay Area Public School Board is expected to meet tonight and discuss and vote on a recommended motion to award the bid to a company called Somerville Architects and Engineers to start that design process and then potentially build that brand new elementary school. According to the school district's website, this month the board got a recommendation from the district for an April 2024 referendum, which would include building a new 860 student elementary school on the existing playfields of Kennedy Elementary School. To get the elementary school completed as soon as possible, the district is working with an architectural and engineering firm to begin the process of the elementary school, of designing it before the referendum vote. The selected firm would finish the design process up to the end of the design development phase by the time the April referendum gets here. If that referendum passes, the architectural company would then complete the rest of the work. The new elementary school would be a 4K to 5th grade elementary school, and it's estimated the project would cost about $60 million in its entirety. Now, the estimated cost for the design part of the project is $1.9 million, just over 3% of the entire project cost. The chief operations officer will also be at tonight's meeting, the officer of the firm who they are intending to work with to answer any questions. The meeting starts at 5 p.m. Reporting live in Green Bay, Kristen Allen, Action 2 News.